What happens to us after we die? Do we cease to exist, or do we live on? This may be the biggest question that mankind has ever asked, as well as what this podcast is about. In this show, we will examine past life memories, speak with professional hypnotherapists, astral projection practitioners, psychics, and much more, all in an attempt to decipher this riddle. So welcome to the puzzle. Welcome to the regression session. Welcome back to the regression session. My name is Ian, and before we get into this week's episode, I have a few announcements to make. I actually made a Facebook group instead of a Facebook page where you guys can make posts and interact with me. I'm a little slow on that end of things, so I finally figured it out. I also actually made a subreddit for those of you who follow me on Reddit, where you can post stuff and interact with each other and me. The goal is really to create a community where we can all talk about this kind of stuff. I'm also going to be changing the subtitle of the show. So right now it's A Guide to Past Lives and the Metaphysical, but I'm going to be making a slight change to reflect kind of the direction that I'm going. I'm probably going to release a bonus episode showcasing my new intro and talking about why I made the change. So this week we're going to be hearing from the hosts of the podcast True Hauntings, Anne and Renata. And we talk about like ghost hunting actually and what that has to do with this puzzle. So what is ghost hunting? Why does it matter? What's the point? That's the kind of stuff that we talk about in this episode. If you want to come onto the podcast to talk about your past life experiences or your knowledge on any metaphysical topic, shoot me an email. My email is theregressionsession@gmail.com. And now for my conversation with Anne and Renata. Hey guys, thanks for coming on to the show.
Hey, thank you for inviting us.
Thanks for reaching out to us.
We're so excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you guys here. Honestly, I'm super stoked. I've been waiting to talk to you guys for I feel like years. But just for context, like I was saying earlier, if you don't mind telling my audience just a little bit about your guys' background and kind of what led you to this point. Just like the Spark Notes version, if there's much detail as you want to share.
All right. Well, we are Anne and Renata, and myself, I have an online paranormal equipment store called Oz Paratech. I sell all the gadgets you see on the ghost hunting TV shows. I've been investigating for 11 years, but been fascinated all my life. I bumped into Renata, or we probably made first contact properly about 6 years ago, and she involved me in a few of her projects early on, even though I'd heard she was an absolute cow, and just to keep away from her, she was a nasty piece of work, apparently. I sort of got to know her and realised she's a decent human being. And from there, we found out that when we're together, we're quite funny. And we are a little bit naughty sometimes, particularly for women of a certain age. We don't like to fit that mould. We're not quite ready to get our knitting needles out yet.
Unless it's to stab someone.
So we started working together and became the brand Anne and Renata. And then we had someone reach out to us a while ago and suggest doing a podcast, which was the True Hauntings podcast. And I believe that is how you found us.
Yep.
And I'll let Renata tell you a little bit about her.
Yep. So my name is Renata Daniel. Hi, everyone. I've been involved in this ever since I tried to get out of the crib, I guess. I feel that I've had spirit people and spirit connections since as long as I can remember. It was something that always fascinated me but scared me as well. I was brought up in a very Catholic family, and so we sort of didn't talk about those types of things. And so it was only when I got into my teens that I started to do my own exploration about that. And as soon as I possibly could, I picked up a deck of tarot cards, which is in my 20s, and I started reading tarot professionally. And I have always gone back into this as my stronghold, always gone into this as a place of my refuge, and I couldn't think of doing anything else. I started my ghost tour business about 12 years ago, Newcastle Ghost Tours, and progressively I met Anne, and I guess Anne's told you about that the last few years where we've been involved, and together as business partners. And we have we're going forward. We're forging forward and creating a career for ourselves where, in many cases, women of our age would not be going into it or finding it so difficult to go into. We're just going, no, we're doing this. This is our passion. We're doing it.
And along the way, we're being forced to learn a lot about technology, and that is something that was not our forte. It was something that we would run away from screaming and try to get other people to help us. But we've only realised recently that by doing that, we were giving our power away to other people. And so we've gathered that back to us now. So please find us on YouTube, Anne and Renata Ghost Hunters, and like and subscribe us. Please, because we are learning how to edit and do all sorts of things. We're going to show the world that ladies of our age can do anything.
Yeah, links to all your guys' stuff is going to be in my description. So we're going to definitely go over those, especially towards the end, so that's fresh on people's minds off the episode. Find the links to Anne and Renata in the description. So your guys' podcast, what I really like about it is the way that you go about telling these famous stories, right? These famous, like Amityville, and I forget the one in your England that, like, that poor girl that basically starved to death. And I've been
there's so many.
I know, like, but it was like a really famous one where she, like, was
it the Annalise?
Yeah, I think that's the one. And she basically starved to death. I've always been suspicious of that case, and everybody's like, "Oh, she was possessed," but I was just kind of like, that doesn't really sound like possession. And I have feelings about the term possession anyway.
So do we.
Anyway, what came off to me and what I really love about it is, like, and I'm sure that you guys didn't mean to do this, but you almost debunk, like, all these famous cases, right? And
we didn't realize.
Or maybe you do realize. But
we're desperate to find somewhere that's really, really haunted.
We really wanted True Haunting. And every time we start researching these cases, we get more and more disappointed.
Yeah, well, that's what I love. And that, like, to me, that gives you guys credibility, right? It like, real ghost hunters, in my opinion, would be like people who are debunking more than being like, oh my God, like a certain really famous ghost hunting show that's on the History Channel. Like, oh my God, there's a ghost literally everywhere, and I'm being haunted and all that stuff. And it's just like, debunking is like the core of what I think ghost hunting should be. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but to me, it gives you guys more credibility.
Well, we've actually found most recently that what a few people are actually courageous enough to be able to say is that when they're watching many of these shows, it seems as though demons are everywhere. And even 3 or 4 years ago, when people were doing these sort of shows, there was still an area of doubt that was employed in many of these programs. But now it seems to be that doubt is completely out the window, and everybody has had to ramp things up to make it more exciting and more thrilling, and just talk about demons being everywhere. And that's such a shame, because at some point in time, people will turn off and click off, because what they're seeing is the same thing produced everywhere and in every show.
Well, let's face it, demons sell.
Demons sell.
Truth doesn't.
All about money.
Yeah,
All about money.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've said this before, and excuse my language, but whenever there's money, there's going to be fuckery.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's why I always go back there.
Yeah.
Hey, we've been behaving ourselves on the language. That makes me feel better now.
Oh yeah, no, it's like I usually bleep out like the F word and the S word.
Yeah.
Because I do have some younger people that listen to the show.
Well,
thank you, by the way.
We are Australian, by the way, so you know.
Oh, I know. I some of my favorite people.
This is a big thing. It really is, and it's a real shame to see that it's like people are afraid of actually showing the truth, or actually going to a place and going, well, we didn't find anything there when we were there. We actually didn't find anything, because what we find as well is that we're told that we're not good enough as investigators if we don't find something on a site.
Apparently,
well, you guys are shit.
Yeah, we suck because we didn't find evidence of ghosts.
Yeah.
We disproved everything.
And you go, I was there for an hour. What did you want me to do? And it's like, well, you guys don't know what you're doing.
And it's the same. It swings the other way as well, is that paranormal investigators go into a location. They investigate for 3 to 4 hours, and then they may not have got anything that was worthwhile, and they declare the place not haunted on one visit, on one day of their lifetime, and because it didn't happen to them, it's not haunted.
There are so many special people in this field. Let's just go there. They're all so special.
I know, they're special enough that they literally can control that when ghosts show up.
That's
I know, right? It's amazing. It's a gift. It's a gift.
A God-given gift. Well, that whole conversation of like, is it or is it not haunted, like brings me to one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about. And what that is like, what, in your opinion, is a haunting? Like, what is it?
Right. That can, from my point of view, and I know Anne is chomping at the bit to say something, but in my point of view, a haunting can be many things, and we have to be careful to not classify it just in one little spectrum, because that spectrum is wide. And a haunting could be, and it's language as well, because hauntings were used in a different context 150 years ago. And it was more often used as the coming back or coming forth of a memory, that haunting memory, that thing that lingers beyond the time frame of its existence. And so there's this haunting memory, or the return of a memory that seems to linger in our minds that comes up. There's the haunting of emotions, and this emotion that we relive and therefore bring back to life. And we have to consider that. There could be the haunting of some sort of an energy, or this energetic form that resides within a place, or resides within the human involved. And so there are many different aspects of this. But it is, I guess, in a nutshell for me, the return of some sort of energy that we are dealing with. And it takes residence in a particular site or space and becomes real again, maybe for a moment or maybe for an extended period of time.
And I apologise for my coughing. I'm recovering from bronchitis, and I'm actually way better than what I was.
Yeah, you are.
You're fine.
All right. My
Cough
turn.
as much as you want.
My turn? Okay. So what is a haunting? Well, for me, there are a couple of types of hauntings. There is a haunting of a place, and there is the haunting of a person, and there is the created haunting. So that is like, so haunting of a place is a resident ghost that has been reported. The haunting of a person where they've got some spirit or entity that is following them around, and the created ghost is the one that is something that the person themselves has created, whether they've got some form of psychokinetic ability, that they've created a thought form. And within that, you then have, if it was a haunting of place, it could be what you call a residual haunting, which is just a memory of the location where it's replaying an event, like walking into a haunted house and putting a movie screening up onto a wall. You can see the characters, you can see it all. They are not interacting with you. You can call out and try to get them to talk to you. It's just a recording. They can't interact. Then there's the intelligent haunting where you will ask the entity to do something specific for you. Knock 3 times. You get 3 knocks. You use spirit boxes and things and say, can you tell me your name? And they'll say, Fred Smith, and you'll get an intelligent response. Maintaining a connection to that intelligent entity can be hit and miss, but essentially that's sort of like the categories of a haunting. What are they? Whether it's man-made or a spiritual thing or even alien or a time slip, I don't know.
That's great. Thanks for going over that with me. And that second version, the one where it's like a recording, isn't that called like stone tape theory or something like that?
That is one of the things. There is the stone tape theory where it is embedded into the stone of the building. There's also a water memory one as well. There's some great things on, if you search on YouTube about water memory, you can watch the videos on that. And that's quite interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's something to do with the environment where it can be embedded into it. So stone tape normally refers to stones, but it can be environmental, I think. Okay,
gotcha. So one thing that's really interesting, and I'm not sure you guys may or may not have heard about this, but like the properties of water, or like I guess the double slit experiment. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes. Yeah.
So what's interesting about water, for my audience, once again, they've heard this, but it reacts differently based off of how you're talking to it, whether or not it's being directly observed, and the feelings that you're projecting towards it. So water is like almost like a blank canvas. So it can record things and it can like reflect energy back, and it takes on the properties of everything around it, which is interesting. And that's why I think that whenever you're in a place that has a lot of like water energy around it, or like a running river, for example, that has a higher potential of being haunted.
Yes. Yeah. And in the end, it's and all of these things, we can get very deep with all of these subjects and sort of go into rabbit holes, which we love to do because we do them all the time. But it's about perspective as well, because when we're looking at each other right here, down on Earth, on the Earth, we all look like individuals. But if you stuck us out in space, we wouldn't see our individual selves at all. We would see this blue planet that is spinning around in space, which kind of from that perspective goes, it's all just one thing, isn't it? It's all one thing. So it's like we're really all connected, where we are a living, breathing organism.
We're a virus.
All enmeshed together.
Humanity's a virus.
And it's like we're looking into a microscope where you can see these individual little cells. But when you pull out, it is literally all one living thing. And I think that is where this whole concept of mediumship and being able to connect with other people's thoughts and past, present, and future lives.
So that concept of the past, present, and future, there's this concept called simultaneous time. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes.
Yep.
Have you guys ever read anything by Dolores Cannon by chance?
No.
Okay. Dolores Cannon is like a pioneer of hypnosis. She actually was one of the people that came up with the the method of imagery. So instead of like holding a pocket watch in front of you and making you be like, whoa, watch the pocket watch. It's like, okay, close your eyes and you're going to see yourself doing this. And we're going to go here, 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 and here. And it takes you into a really deep trance. One of the things that she did in her books was she would have these conversations with, she called it the subconscious. That's not necessarily what I would say it is, but the subconscious mind would continue her conversation, like pick up right where it left off with a different client that she hadn't even talked to. And we had actually talked before we started recording a little bit about like whether you're pulling your mediumship from like your own subconscious or like, is it actually mediumship? And I told you that I think like, to me, it's the same thing. So that concept of simultaneous time, basically what it's saying is like everything that ever has happened or is happening or ever will happen is happening right now. And so to me, with these ghosts and things, it's like you're not just coming across a recording or you're not running into like a full person. To me, you're coming into a like almost like a fold, like a fold in time or something, or like something's going on where you're running into something that's happened or something that's happening right now, because everything is happening right now. So what's your guys' thoughts on that?
Well, all we have is right now, isn't it? This very single moment. That's all we have, really, because the past is gone and the future isn't here yet. So we're really just going from now to now to now to now to now. All crazy stuff. I need a drink. Let's face it. Because when you start talking about this, it's just this whole expansion of the mind where you go, I just can't believe that this all actually exists, that we're all here and all of this is happening. It's really quite mind-blowing. And yes, there are these theories where you sort of go, have I just hit a bump in the road, which is either keeping me on top of this bump or has moved me a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right? So I'm still here in the now, but I'm experiencing another bit of a time moment, a time fragment, which allows me to see in that for a moment. So, again, there are so many theories around. It would be nice if someone could just say, you know what, this is it. Yeah. This is your piece of the puzzle. Just think of it this way. But we can't. I don't think our brains are ready for the reality of what is really happening.
And just to play devil's advocate, as I like to do, from a parapsychological viewpoint, and I'm not familiar with this lady's work whatsoever. I'm not questioning it whatsoever. By suggesting a scene and taking you down a path, the power of suggestion is entering your mind of where you're going and what you're going to expect. And then starting to have a conversation subconsciously and picking up on things that are not in that person's sphere. Are they actually tapping into whoever the person that is running the session psychically and grabbing bits of information about who the next customer is that's coming through the door? We don't really know where this information is coming from. Is it coming from our higher self? Is it coming from God? Is it coming from Satan? Is it coming from the person that's sitting in front of us or the person that's sitting in the waiting room? They have proved that this psychokinetic ability is a real thing. So where is it coming from to be able to extract this information?
Yeah, and that's one of the age-old questions, right?
Yeah.
Like they've even done studies that, as far as like psychokinetic abilities go, humans are like extremely sensitive and almost have that built into them, to the point where people can even tell that they're being observed through a camera. Like through a camera, they can tell. So that is a good question. Like, we don't know where this information is coming from. All we know is that the information is coming through.
Yeah. And there's an experiment that's happening right now where they are putting people in front of images, and they've got them all hooked up with electrodes on their brain to monitor the reaction of the physical being, and they'll put a happy picture up in front of them, and they'll measure what that person's brainwaves and the physical reaction to it. Then they'll put up a traumatic picture, and that they'll measure that. And then what was happening is that the people were starting to react to the image before it came up. So were they seeing into the future? Were they knowing what that person had programmed to be the next picture? How on earth are they reacting to these pictures physically and emotionally before they're shown them? Ooh.
That's fascinating. I see, and this is like where I live every day.
Yeah.
I love this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Who
It's
knows?
really too. And this is done, a lot of people who train CIA agents and things like that actually train people to be able to follow their gut instincts, because this is a gut instinct. And this is what we're losing because we are so in tune with mobile phones.
We're we learn everything from here.
Yeah, so
wonder what it's like outside. Let's go and have a look. No, we'll look at our phone.
Yeah. So this is elite training, which is really weird because we used to all possess this when we didn't have electronics to depend upon. We had to be aware of what was going on around us. And I've read a couple of books where, with this whole idea of our body senses fear and our body senses that possibility that we are going to be attacked just moments prior to it possibly happening, which can lead us to either pick scenario A or scenario B. Scenario A is I don't listen to my gut instinct and I go down that dark alleyway and there's probably going to be attack down there. Or plan B, that doesn't feel safe. I'm going to change my way I'm walking home. For example, I'm going to walk home under lights. So this is kind of ingrained in us.
It's the fight or flight
but we just don't use it anymore, and we're losing it. There'll probably be a generation or two and it will be gone from most of us. So also what is carried in our DNA from one person to another, and what memory are we dredging up? Are we dredging up the memory that is in our DNA from our great-great-great-grandfather or great-great-great-grandmother, or are we dredging up DNA that is in the collective unconscious from something that is floating around in the universe that we are picking up on, and that's the piece of information.
Or am I picking up on her fear of going down dark alleys?
We call that in like the spiritual hypnotist, or everybody goes by a different name nowadays, but we call that on this side of things intuition. So you guys think that intuition is going away then?
Yes.
Kind of, more or less.
Yeah. Unless you're training yourself to really tap into your intuitive abilities, it is something that most people will just lose or feel that they don't have.
So it's really interesting that you say that, because that's a completely different perspective than kind of what I have, and I can see where you're coming from for sure. Yeah. For me, on my side of things, like doing this hypnosis work and stuff, I almost am feeling the opposite. I'm almost feeling like there's some kind of a spiritual awakening happening. It's slow, but a lot of people, if you look at it like a generation ago or 2 generations ago or however many, there's almost nobody out there, for the vast majority, that wasn't part of an organized religion, right? But everybody nowadays, like my generation, is like, that. I'm not going to be a part of this organized religion. I'm going to find my own way. And they're trusting this intuitive feeling for the most part. I mean, there's a lot of them that are kind of like, oh, I'm going to be atheist. But that's almost like just another step on the ladder. So to me, it's almost like the opposite of like there's an awakening where people are coming back into their intuition, because they almost like what you're saying, a fight or flight, where we felt like, oh God, we're losing this. We need to get it back as a species. So what do you guys think of that?
The problem with organized religion is that it was all about power and control, and never about the people that were associated with the help and assistance that an organization or a community that showed themselves as something that was going to be helpful ever really did in the end. So people are moving away from the organized stuff because they're seeing that there's corruption there. I think if you go back in time and you looked at pagan religions, and you probably have a lot, they had a sense that everything was alive and everything that was precious. Whatever was on this earth was a precious commodity, and it had a soul. And therefore, just like we had a soul and a connection to everything, all that was around us was connected to us as well. So there was honour and there was respect.
And the responsibility to them, to us. It was sort of like
absolutely
a bit of yin and yang.
And the thing that we find at the moment is, yes, there are a lot of people that are calling out and wanting this connection back, but they're actually calling out and saying, how do I do this? How do I gain that back within myself? And it's like this lost thing, because older communities always had this this thing of these things were taught to the next generation. You know, as part of your initiation and growing up, I am going to teach you now to be a full-standing human being on your own, and I'm going to teach you the secrets of the world and what you need to know to be a proper human being. And it was passed on culturally from one generation to the next. We don't have those markers in life anymore. They're all gone. They're all gone. And we're teaching our 7-year-old girls, for example, that you need to wear nail polish and have your hair made up and have false eyelashes to be beautiful. Now, what's that got to do with living in this world and surviving as a full, upstanding, full, self-actualized human being?
I actually disagree. I think that people are moving away from that and trying to teach them to be themselves. But look, the whole liberation of from organised religions actually tried to kick off in the 60s, when the hippies and the flower power started getting out there and love each other and love yourself. And then all of a sudden we had the satanic panic, because the churches realised they were losing the grip on the ability to control and being the centre. So they started spreading this whole Satan's coming to take your soul, and then Hollywood got hold of it and started to use that, and then you'd get well-known paranormal investigators would also jump onto it, which we won't mention names, but you can probably guess who they are, who would then also jump onto that bandwagon and then make people so fearful of thinking for themselves that they all went flooding back to the churches again. And we're going down a really dark hole on this one.
No, I love it.
Yeah, and people stop thinking for themselves. And I agree. There is more and more, and this is the people we are finding that are coming to us because we ask these questions. And they are, moreover than not, a lot of women who are aged 40 to 60 who are asking the questions of, why have I been swallowing everything that's been fed to me? You guys are now making us think outside the box, and that's all we're attempting to do. Get people to think for themselves. We're not trying to feed them our beliefs or anything like that. Just start to think about what you're being told, and is it truth?
If I could unmute my microphone, I could talk to you guys. But yeah, I couldn't put it better myself. Like, we work in different places along the same puzzle, right?
Yeah.
It's different pieces of the same puzzle, and that's actually why I'm trying to get like all these different people to come on my show, like mediums, ghost hunters, Reiki healers, chakra healers, past life regression hypnotherapists. I had like the doctor of Dr. Bruce Koloski, who's like the former president of the American Association of Hypnotherapy, come on to talk about hypnosis. But it's all part of the same puzzle, right?
It is.
And when we're talking about like ghost hunting and stuff, that's almost like the doorway most people come through to get to.
Exactly.
Okay, like if there's ghosts, then that means like this can't just be like a one and done thing. We don't go to heaven or hell. Like, there's something after. It's just like that's like that's the doorway to where you can get to where I am, and you're like, okay, like you're now you've been killed by a Sasquatch. What now?
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Like that happened to me once, by the way. It was weird.
In a past life, obviously.
Right. Well, no, for that one, and I kind of touched on this a little bit. It was a spirit rescue. whereas someone was like in the 1800s. It's a totally different like long story. But long story short, the dude got killed by a Sasquatch, whatever that means. It could be real, could be made up, whatever. But like the end thing is he was like, thank you so much for being here with me during this scary time. And that's what happens. And we kind of touched on this spirit rescue and we kind of accidentally circled back to it. But what I would like to talk about it is like what you do with spirit rescue is it's a part of hypnosis, right? And I'd like to get your guys' opinion on this because it ties in nicely with the ghost hunting. With spirit rescue, I accidentally came across this phenomenon when I was first getting into hypnosis and I didn't know what I was doing. Because don't do this for my audience, by the way. Get some training. I just was like, oh, I'm just going to hypnotize people before I knew what I was doing. I have enough experience now because I've been doing it long enough that I actually know what I'm doing, which is good. So get some training, people. But what happened was I was past life regressing with my sister, and she had this little girl come through, and the little girl was like mid past life. She was like, hey, Ian. And I was like, what? And she was like, I don't think I'm one of Taylor's past lives. I was like, okay, well, what are you then? And she was like, I think I'm a ghost. And I was like, I was shocked. I was shaken. And so I accidentally stumbled across this. It actually put me off of doing like hypnosis for a while because I was scared of like, oh my God, am I going to summon like a demon to me or whatever? And then I started like seeing it happen. I started asking like, oh, are you one of Billy Bob's past lives? No, I'm not actually. Oh, okay. Well, what do you need? And then you start like going through this scene of like, I was murdered by my ex-husband or whatever. And it's like, okay, well, what do you need to heal? Do you need to talk to your ex-husband? Do you need to not be murdered? And then you can kind of change this scenario, and then this spirit can basically move on. The reason I'm bringing it up to you guys is because someone told me that when that happened to them, they were like, oh my God, I think they said like cured a haunted house. They're like, I just cured a haunted house. I was like, what do you mean? They're like, there was like a spirit in a house somewhere and it's gone. And I was like, huh, like from doing this hypnosis. And they're like, yeah, I felt it like leave the house. And so my question after all that talking basically is to you guys, what's the point of doing these investigations? Because for me, when we run into these, I'm going to call them soul shards or spirit shards because I don't think they're full people. To me, the goal is to help them move on or get closure or heal in some way because hypnosis is all about healing to me. So what in your guys' opinion is the point of ghost hunting?
For me, there is a few. First off, we have dark tourism, paranormal entertainment, where people want to have a spooky experience and therefore they're happy to pay some money to go and attend a ghost hunt or a ghost tour to have that experience. They want to have the life scared out of them, or maybe they're after the next stage of their journey. Maybe they're asking questions. I've heard about these ghosts. I want to have an experience so I can work out for myself what is going on. And that's where I came from, is that I heard other people talking about ghosts and I wanted to know more. Personally, I think our job, and this probably relates more to Renata and I than other paranormal dark tourism entertainers, is that we are trying to give people the best opportunity to experience something that they can't explain through their mundane eyes. And by giving them that experience, we open their mind to the possibility of what might be out there. I'm hoping for what we're providing is to open the door to put their feet on whatever their spiritual path or journey may be. And if it wasn't for ghost tours, I would not have started on the journey I am on now. Some people are just happy to stay at that level of going to a cemetery and hanging out in the dark or going on ghost tours. That's their final destination. They don't actually want to go any further, and that's fine. But for some people, and a lot of the people who are now become our volunteers on our tours, their mind went, and they started to have paranormal experiences themselves. They discovered they had abilities as psychics or mediums, and it blew open the door for them. And then they came to us and said, we need help. There's all this stuff going on. Can you help us? So we then started to train them and to help them. And then they came to help us run the tours. So that's from my viewpoint of what is the purpose of all of this. It is a curiosity that opens the doorway for other pathways. Renata? What she said.
I actually have studied what you're talking about with regard to hypnosis and being able to tap into attachments that are using the hypnotized person to speak through. And
that was
using
something
them as a conduit
Yes.
in some way. So it's like there's no other way I can get through. That person's getting hypnotized. Yes, this is my opportunity.
They've got their conscious out of the road.
And I'm
can
going
talk.
to speak to them. Finally, I've got someone listening. And we find that spirits are often just shaking people and kind of going, I just want to be heard. I want to have this part of my story told, or I want to be heard, or I want to let the world know that I'm still here, or that my existence is important or was important, or whatever it is. And we find that part of our work that we do is to settle these spirits down and go, we're hearing you.
We give you a voice.
We're giving you a voice. We're understanding that you're here. It's okay. And it's okay that these two worlds collide and that people live together with those that are on one side and those that are on the other side, because often all people want is to get rid of them. I just want them out. I want them out. I don't want to have anything to do. It's scaring the crap out of me. And when we kind of go, well, what's really happening, the story kind of becomes a little bit different, and we can settle them down and get them out of sort of a hysteria or a trauma about what is going on, and saying, it's actually okay. It could be dear old Uncle Arthur, who actually built the house that you're in, and he's just wanting to say, hey, you moved my favourite chair. Could you have asked first? It could have been something really simple. And then you've got the issue too of, are people carrying these things around, or have they just picked them up from where they're now in? So again, it gets all complicated. But to get to your question, it's really everything that Anne has said. We're trying to educate people that it is not the fear-based stuff that we have been taught through the TV shows and through the past 50-odd years of paranormal entertainment. It's something very, very different. It's something very unique and something that can really expand your vision on the world. Like we were saying right from the very beginning, anything that makes us expanded in our thoughts and in our mind and in our processes can only be a good thing. So that's what we're actually trying to do. Yeah.
That's beautiful. And unfortunately, I think you guys are in the minority on that. I think most people out there are just in it for the money or the thrills.
Yeah, there is not much money to be made unless, we did hear of some people doing some very shonky things. And look, and part of the other thing is we do is that ghost hunters always want to get into historical locations, and the darker the history, the better. So we hope to get there first to be able to run a responsible tour where the location itself is supported and making money, and we're making money because we have to pay bills. We do this now full time.
Our career.
This is our career now. So we cop so much crap from people who say you shouldn't be making money off the dead. Well, funeral homes make money off the dead.
What are they going to use it for?
They're
dead.
So So we're hoping that we can get there without all the hysteria and making it ghoulish and gory, and making it respectful and a learning experience.
Yep. And there will always be those that say we don't want that.
And that's fine.
They're not our
They're not
customers. They're not our people. And that's it. Might not be okay, but there's not much we can do about it. So we want to focus on the people that have an ear and are ready to listen.
That's perfect. I do have a couple like things that came up when in your guys' conversation, like when you were telling me all this stuff. Well, the first thing is attachments. And we talked about this like when we first started talking, because we've covered like a huge range of topics since then. So it's like ancient history. It might as well be. But I told you guys that I have an issue with like the concept of attachments and possession.
Yeah.
I want to hear your guys' gripe about it.
Well, look, I'm a born-again pagan. So, I was brought up in a Catholic family, as I mentioned before, and we sort of didn't talk about all of these things. Everything was attacked with more prayer, more time on your knees, ask for God's forgiveness and all of this sort of stuff. And part of the learning that I did with regard to the stuff that I was researching on possession and the possession stories and exorcism was to do with the training that I have done as a counsellor. So I'm a trained counsellor. I've also done hypnotherapy work. I've also done Reiki healing work. And I've seen some of the damage that can be done by people who stand over others and demand that they're sinful. Like, you're sinful, right? Now save yourself. And people are going, but what did I do? I don't even know what I did. So that concept of making someone a sinner and then healing them is like the best type of advertising you can possibly get. I mean, doesn't advertising run on the thing of you have a problem, and if you don't have a problem, I'm going to give you a problem and then I'm going to sell you something to fix it? Hello? So
this is to do with attachments.
Yeah.
Yeah, so people, like you have psychics and mediums who'll go, oh, you've got an attachment. Or a friend, you're having a bad day and a friend will go, oh, you might have an attachment. And in my definition, an attachment is a spirit or entity, whether it was ever on this planet or was not of this planet or Earth or whatever, that has somehow or other attached to your being and is influencing you somehow or other. Some people might call that possession. Other people call it attachment. For me, looking at it logically, is it actually an aspect of that person's subconscious? And if something is going wrong in their life, instead of taking ownership of it and saying, oh, well, I stuffed that up, I just had a car accident and I rolled through a give way sign. That was the attachment. They made me do that. I'm having bad luck. It's because of the attachment or the possession.
Yeah.
And there is also the responsibility. If you're going to say to someone, you've got an attachment on you, don't then walk off and go, well, have fun with that. We've dealt with people who was 20 or 30 years ago were told they had an attachment. They're carrying that concept with them going, well, I've got evil, bad luck attached to me. Every single bad thing that happens in my life is obviously because of this attachment. And they've got no solutions. They're just trying to live with it. And I mean, the person that told them may have no ability whatsoever. They've just watched a TV show and decided, oh, well, that person's got an attachment. And it's the same with houses that ghost hunters go into and say, oh, you've got a demon in the house.
And then goodbye.
And then go.
See ya.
Worse still, you get the ones that go, oh, you've got an attachment. I'm going to have to come back next week. That'll be $500 and we'll get rid of that for you. And then they come and they go, oh, we've got rid of it, but there's actually more. I'm going to need to come back next week. That'll be another $500. And that's just immoral. Sorry, I'm getting on my high horse. My voice is getting higher and higher.
Like I said, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, I know. I
Well,
sort
yeah,
of realized
I mean-
you were
Thank you. Thank
with
you.
with with what you're saying, where people stand above you and say you're a sinner, that can even be a cause of that like subconscious,
Yes.
like creating that attachment from your subconscious mind.
Yeah.
And it's like what you were saying, that shard, that break off
Yeah,
from
and then-
the real person that now becomes this
It's a
living,
thought form.
breathing entity.
It's a thought form.
Yeah.
And the more energy you give it,
Yes.
the more it's gonna
Yep.
dig in. But it's not
Yep.
it's not like a demon coming to get you. It's you. Like
Yep.
Yeah.
it's a part of yourself. See, I was raised Mormon. Do you guys even know what Mormons are?
Yeah, we do.
Okay,
Apart
I was
from the
raised
Mormon.
I was raised Mormon.
Yeah.
So like me coming to this point from being like balls deep in Mormonism is like complete 180. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't identify as pagan. I don't know what I am, but
You're just born again.
I'm born again. I'm born again something. And like I did an energy healing, something that I call core realignment. It's so powerful and it's so awesome. I'll have to tell you guys about it later because I don't want to like go off on it about it. But I did it to my friend, and my friend was talking to me about, by the way, hi friend, you know who you are. I know you listen to this. I love you. Anyway, he was like, yeah, I was told by someone a while ago that, oh, you picked up a passenger, or you picked up a hitchhiker.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he was like, that didn't comfort me in any way, because he was apparently getting like some like energy work done or something, and they're like, let me just get rid of that for you. And I was like, let me deal with this right now. Let me explain something to you right now. Is like, that person, they can't get rid of that for you. The only person that can get rid of that is you. And the only way that you can get rid of that is by allowing whatever emotion that created that fragment. You have to feel that and then deal with it. And so
yes.
Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh, yes. Oh
Yeah,
my
I mean,
gosh, yes.
we went through that, and I have like, I came to so many, like just in the past little while, just doing this certain technique, I've come to the realization, like, people that are afraid of like entities and people who do meditation, like all this stuff, all it is just fluff, in my opinion. It's just fluff. And what they're doing is they're trying to inherently do something physical for something that's not a physical problem.
Yep, absolutely.
And it's all within
Totally.
yourself. That's what I think.
Yep.
We agree.
Look, my glasses even fogged up.
We got so excited the glasses fogged up.
There we go. Yeah. Love
And
it.
I tend to talk to people too about retrieving pieces of themselves that they've let go of when they have really bad things that happen to them. And it's like, someone has been really awful in a relationship and has dragged them down to a point where they can't be themselves anymore. They have become somebody else because of some sort of narcissism or whatever it is, just giving an example. And it's like when they take themselves away from that relationship, a core part of them has gone with that person. It's like they've released that bit to them. And then they've got this empty space and they're not feeling themselves or don't know how to get back to themselves. And it's like, call that piece back in. It belongs to you. It doesn't belong to that person anymore. Call it back in and let it sit back in you so that, you can become your whole self again and be who you truly are. And, we let go of ourselves and pieces of ourselves in so many ways when we deal with things that make
And
us
give
unhappy
away
and sad.
so many.
And give away.
That's the worst part, when we give it away and we don't even realise that we have given that person power over us. We need to bring it back.
Yeah, yeah.
And see, that right there is where I've been kind of leading this. That's what I think ghosts are those little shards that people let go. And when you heal yourself, you're not healing just yourself. You're calling that shard back. You're healing that haunted house. And you're healing Anne. And you're healing Renata. And you're healing Ian. And you're healing Bob Dylan or whoever. I don't know.
Yeah,
you're healing everybody. Because
Yep.
we're all part of the same, in my opinion.
Yep.
Wow, you wrapped that up neatly with a bow on
Oh,
top.
that was nice. Well
Thank
done.
you. Thank you. Well, couple admin things. If you guys don't mind just going over like your websites, your social medias, your YouTube channels, all of that great stuff so that people can go check out the wonderful things that you guys are doing. Everybody, please go check out Anne and Renata. They do such great work. I'm a personal fan. I have just devoured your guys' podcast, and I'm like, why are they not putting out more?
We're on to that.
We think we've finally got them. We didn't get one out this week because we were let down by the production team, but we think we've got that problem solved now. But firstly, how you found us was the True Hauntings podcast, available Spotify, iTunes, and all your favourite podcasting places. We are on YouTube, Anne and Renata Ghost Hunters. Please come over and join us there. We do we were doing a lot of international travel, but we're going back in 8 weeks, where we will be looking at haunted locations throughout England and Ireland, but also locations with naughty names. We're starting off in the town of Shitterton, and we're hoping that we're going to end up in Twat, but sadly we can't get across there on a ferry because she won't do waters. So that will be an absolutely fun hoot of a trip. We laugh all the way. We also have our Facebook pages, which is Anne and Renata Frightfully Good. Please either join the page or the community page, whatever you like. We do have TikTok and we hate it, but it's there. What else have we got? We've got our frightfullygood.com, which is where we buy merch and that sort of stuff. We've got our tours, which is Newcastle Ghost Tours. We've got Oz Paratech, which is the ghost hunting equipment. There's just so much that we do. We run workshops. We've got one coming up. So if you can look up the Frightfully Good School of Ghost Hunting, that's on Facebook. We've got one of our Introduction to Ghost Hunting workshops coming up, a mini masterclass. Come join that.
We also do a local Sunday, what we call Spooky Sunday show on the radio show every Sunday night from 8 till 10 p.m. And look, we just try and be involved in as much as we can because we live this 24 hours a day. So,
yeah, 24/7.
Yeah, we love it.
Links to all those are going to be found in the description. Head on over, check out Anne and Renata. They're beautiful, beautiful souls, and they deserve as much love as you can give them. And Anne and Renata, I'm going to put you on the spot. I always do this. Do you guys have a message that you would like to leave for my audience?
Oh, just keep searching, being yourselves and find that happy spot every single day. Don't let one day go by where you don't find something really happy and joyous to, lift yourself with.
Be kind. Simple as that. Be kind.
Don't be an asshole.
Perfect. Well, I want to thank you guys so much for coming on to my show. I really appreciate you coming here and sharing your time with me.
Oh, thank you for tracking us down.
It's been awesome. We loved it.
Yeah, no, it's been a really good conversation, and it's really nice to dig deep on things rather than just skim over the love and light, fluffy bunny stuff.
Yeah, they always say, "Oh, what's your most haunted experience?" And you go, "Oh, can you ask me something else?"
Well, I'm glad I could. I'm glad that we could dive deep, and like I said, I really appreciate you guys this time.
Thank you.
That's it for today's episode. I would like to thank Anne and Renata for coming on to the show. I would also like to thank you for tuning in. Definitely head on over to all of Anne and Renata's stuff. They're awesome people. Head on over to my Facebook page, my Facebook group, the subreddit, the Twitter, any of that stuff. Links to all this is going to be in the description. For me, I just included a link tree, which it just has all your links. If you like the show, I'd appreciate you subscribing in your podcast player and sharing the show around with anyone you think might be interested, or even someone who you think would be interested in coming onto the show. If you're interested in coming onto the podcast and talking with me about your experiences, send me an email. My email is theregressionsession@gmail.com, and I would love to have you on the show. I'm not going to lie to you guys, like my side of things, if I was looking at myself from like 2 years ago when I was just barely leaving Mormonism, I'd have been like, you're full of shit, bro. Like, you're nuts. you belong in a freaking loony bin. But now it's just like, I've talked to people who are like, I lived in the angel realm, and I have a dragon stepbrother, and we snorted fairy dust in Mars' stratosphere. I don't know, like just like all this like weird stuff. And I'm like, okay, and how do you feel about that?
I'm special.
How does that make you feel?